Welcome, goddess.
Thank you, my sister goddess. It is a pleasure and a joy to be here. And thank you for asking me in the first place.
Oh my gosh, Hidden Joshta, who's in Bosnia Herzegovina, says, she looks exactly like in the Star Wars and I absolutely love it. Is your character?
Then let me tell you, may the force be with you, always.
I want to show you what I found that I've had since I met you. Can you tell the chat what this is and how it came into your life and what you do with these guys? This is a gift from Debra that I've had for years now. Tell them all about why you do this.
I make these little necklaces, and each one of them have different symbols of spirituality and love, and I call them love and kindness necklaces. And the mantra that goes with each necklace is, I make these necklaces to spread love and kindness. Now I pass these on to you. So wear the love, share the love, spread kindness. And because motion capture and video games are a family, I like to share with my family an opportunity to have a little snippet of my love and for them to be able to wear that as an expression of their own love and kindness that they put back out into the world. Because the world will always be in need of love and kindness. And now that you're in my family, I want you to be an extension of the human family, because everyone out in the world could use love and kindness and always will. So that symbol is the symbol of infinity, for infinite love, infinite happiness, infinite joy, wisdom, health, wealth, prosperity, peace, and live that so that you can put that out in the world for others in need and who deserve to hear it.
You have made tens of thousands of these?
Personally, I've made 44,000.
44,000 people. And that means you've given away 43,000? Like, how many do you have at home right now?
No, I've given away whatever I make. I always give. It's always about letting go. The only purpose to make is to release it and not hold it. So I've made 44,000 and I've given 44,000.
You are, I know you're not on Instagram right now, but I announced you as you're a force of nature. Because you are, and working with you was a really beautiful experience. And anytime I've mentioned to anybody that we worked together, they go, "Oh, that goddess," because they know what it's like to work with you. And a lot of the comments were, "Oh my God, she's the best! Oh my God, I'm so excited!" A vocal force, people who have worked with you as voice actors, as sound engineers, those have been the comments. And inevitably, there's always the, "Oh my God, I remember her from Mad TV." So tell me all about working on that, because you've reenacted some of the kind of improv stuff that you did there, but that was a huge part of you and Phil Lamar doing magic on there. How did this come about? Because it was the precursor to SNL. It was, it was something that was just so of the times.
I started in New York doing improv and sketch as well as theater. And on-camera stuff. I had an audition in New York, and that took me to an audition in Los Angeles. And everyone who was on the show, I had met during that process and had worked with them in the audition process so that show would happen. So I met and did my audition process at one point, a second audition process with Artie Lang. And in Los Angeles, I met Phil Lamar, I met Nicole Sullivan and did another audition process with her. Mary Shear was there. David Herman, I did a film in New York with David Herman before doing Mad TV, and met David Herman back in Los Angeles. And so the only two people I didn't meet at that time, and I met Phil Lamar, the only two people were Orlando Jones, who was also in the original cast, and Brian Callen at the time, who came in to the original cast a couple of weeks after all of us. And so once, they pared down the 8 cast members that were going to be the permanent cast members, we had already had some sort of rapport. We already kind of got a feel for each other's brand of humor on a personal level. And then we just kind of put it all together and then had to figure out and kind of navigate through our personal personalities and our clashes and all the things of the human drama and of the human world that we needed to work out so that the comedy would come first. And in that first couple of seasons, the comedy always came first, regardless of the drama, which is just a part of the course of any life.
We have somebody here super excited that loved when you played Oprah Winfrey on Scary Movie 4.
Yes, hello, yes. I did not like getting my wrist spit back at all. It was painful. It was ridiculous. I broke a bone. I broke several bones. I broke 38 bones, small bones. They fractured and they just fractured in pieces. However, I have a top-notch doctor because I'm Oprah. And I was supposed to have titanium put in, but I was like, can you make it 18 karat gold? Because it's my favorite metal. Do you mind? And I had that and platinum in the other one, just to offset the balance between precious metals.
When did you discover you could be Oprah? Did you just say, oh, well, Oprah was saying this, and all of a sudden the impression came out? I'm always so curious when you discover these things.
That was a discovery on Mad TV, actually, because a parody came up and it was written, and it was like, okay, do some research on her. And I did. I had dreadlocks at the time, so whenever I wore wigs, I didn't know how to move my head because I could feel my dreadlocks underneath. And I know that she had very layered hair. And so when I would do this, the audience would laugh. And I realized that the more my head shook like that, and so this became a caricature. And I started turning an actual impersonation of her because I've done her impersonations as opposed to an impression. An impersonation is if you talk to someone and you think, oh, that really is Oprah that I'm listening to and talking to you right now. This is what I do as an impersonation. But when I'm doing an impression of her, I do this because it is over enunciated and it is a caricature. So the more I shook my head and the hair and the wigs moved, that became part of the impersonation. I mean, not the impersonation, the impression, the over enunciation. That became the Oprah who became a caricature because it was a parody on Mad TV. That's where I did it.
Amazing. Thank you for explaining the difference because a lot of people don't know. What are some other favorite impressions or impersonations that you do?
I did a lot of Whitney Houston. I'm also very well known on Mad TV for doing a ton of Whitney Houston, as much, if not more, than the Oprahs. And again, I always take something from the vocal space of the impersonation and then build the caricature. And in caricatures, especially for on camera, you want to tell a story that everyone else is thinking but won't speak on. All the taboos we get a chance to do. Whitney Houston's voice was sort of in this range here, and it was a little because she did smoke. She always smoked, regardless. And then what I did is I just took it a little further in this range here, like this, because whenever she was on stage, her presence was just a little different. And then I took the things that she did on Diane Sawyer with eyes closed sometimes, and the smile and the lack of the smile with like, are you? And I started taking things like that. And that became the caricature of doing Whitney. And I will always love you. And yes.
Hack the planet.
Yeah, boy. And then sang Bobby's name, Bobby. Yeah.
We do have a big fan of Bonifa Latifa Halifa Shalifa Jackson.
Bonifa Latifa Halifa Sharifa Jackson. Get a sister's name right.
I'm so sorry. God. What's her deal?
Carolina, like South or North. I know it's Carolina, like 2 E's, but it's not spelled that way, because if it was spelled that way, you'd be black. Anyway. Hi, fam, whoever you are. You single? I'm just saying.
Tam Street, I believe this fan is in Turkey, if I'm not mistaken, which is...
I love turkey, especially with mashed potatoes and gravy and some collard greens on the side.
Jeff does want to know if you've ever done an impersonation of Diana Ross.
Yes, I have. Now her lips always like this. Her eyes. I did it on that TV as well. Yes. Yes. Her lips are always a little like this. Yes. She has very large eyes like I do. Yes. And her voice is a little softer than everybody else's. But yes, that's Diana Ross right there. If there's a cure for this, I don't want it. If there's a remedy, I want from.
One of the comments is that you sound exactly like Grace Walker. What's her deal?
No, I don't sound like Grace Walker. Tell this bitch you don't know what the fuck she talking about.
There you go.
This is motherfucking Grace Walker, baby. Now, you better pretend I got an afro, because I do. And you better believe that I'm here to let you know what the fuck you can do in a booth. You better recognize that when you take the word possible and you separate the I am from the possible and put an apostrophe between the I and the M, motherfucking possible turns out to be motherfucking I'm possible. And if I'm possible, bitch, you're possible.
What is some of the best advice you've gotten from somebody you've worked with that you go, oh my God, that clicked in this way that just made me look at this differently, or that I carry with me throughout?
I don't say that there's one integral thing, because there are snippets over the years and over the entire span of when I started to even now. And if I had to put it all together in a nutshell, what I take away that inspires me the most is always be in a classroom, always learn, pay attention to what others do and how they do it. Even if they're not doing voiceover, even if it's an engineer, listen to conversations, because you never know what you're going to take, so that when they say and they come back to you, you go, I heard that already and I'm already prepared.
Yeah.
So always be in a classroom. Every experience for me is a classroom, and every audition is a booking.
What is one of your favorite video game characters that you've played? Because we have a lot of gamers watching. I know there is Batare.
Batare from Far Cry Primal. But the top of my list has to be Cere Junda from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Top of the list. Top of the list.
And how does she sound?
You know what? It's my voice. It's me.
Cool.
It's all my energy. It's all my love. It's all my joy. It's all that opportunity to put that spiritual and personal philosophy into a character that has such an emotional range that sometimes it's a challenge to play. And the reason it was a challenge to do that is you would think, well, she's so much like you, that shouldn't be a challenge. It shouldn't be hard. But what it is, it's taking more and more experiences from my life, from the darker parts of my life, and becoming more authentic and putting that truth in there. And then having my truth be exposed in what I do as Cere Junda.
Wow. Would you say that's your most personal character, or have there been others?
The most personal character.
And that's incredibly
especially when it comes to the pain.
Yeah. I was going to say it's nerve-wracking, but there are many other words. For me, I just did a project that is very personal to me, and I've never felt more exposed and more vulnerable. And I think that's why it's even scarier to commit to that, because it's so you, right?
Yes. And it's a very gentle performance as opposed to having the wacky fun or the outlandish or the Grace Walkers, which it's a combination. It's a dance between the two of you. And, you're like any dance, you come together and you pull apart, you do your thing, and they take center stage. But in doing something like this, Cere and I were so much like this that when she needed to take center stage on a very emotional level, I had no choice but to go with her.
Anchormania wants to hire you as a life coach. And what I'm going to tell Anchormania is, well, you can rewatch this anytime you want on Twitch, because it will be saved. But I do believe that everything that you're saying and that you've said today is little nuggets of wisdom that we can take on in any situation, because it isn't just, well, it only pertains to this one time. If you dig deeper inside, you'll find ways to make it all make sense in so many situations. And
I will never, ever, ever do an interview or come on and chat without people knowing something about themselves, without giving back. Because my thing is this: if I came on and talked about my career and what I do, and then I get off, I don't believe in wasted time, but I believe that would not be a loving and kind and truthful and authentic use of my time. I do these things. I come on to these interviews so that we can all recognize that we are all one energy in these different facets out in the world, all raising the conscious vibration by giving ourselves the opportunity to live our most authentic lives.
Is there anything else you would like to add to this very active listening group of people that are thanking you profusely for being such a beautiful person inside and out?
I always close with this. I want you to be blessed, be happy, and be you, because you are beautiful. Thank you for the opportunity to just come on and hang out with you. It's been a while, so I'm very grateful we get a chance to see each other, and I see your beautiful face.
Absolutely, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. Keep booming and booping.
I will if you will.